He came over and jumped on me because we drove to the ballpark together that day, and he said, Tug, every time we've won a game here in this stretch, you jump up at the air, you strike somebody out, jump in the air, and you get your picture in the paper. He says, I'm the one that drove in the run, stole the bases, and helped win the game. He says, tonight, I got a feeling you're going to be out there again. He says, when you strike out somebody, he says, I'm going to come over from third and dive on top of you. That way I'll have my picture in the paper. And that's been a great picture that we've seen in so many different publications of him doing that.
Tug McGraw and Mike Schmidt, what a pair to draw to. It's going to be fun tonight. Have a good time tonight, Tug.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Thanks, Scotty.
All right, I'm Scott.
A genuine warmth, a really good feeling about, oh, you were there at that point in time and you did it, and we had a lot of fun, and we really did.
Now, a decade later, those long dormant memories spring to life.
Now it's all coming back to me. We had won the first game of the series, and we were getting good performance from our pitching staff that day, and it came down to an at-bat of mine against Stan Bonson.
It'll seem like it was a movie I saw a long time ago, or maybe a book I read about some guy that was a lot like me.
Tonight, a ceremony befitting heroes, a homecoming of champions.
PRISM Sports proudly presents the 1980 Phillies World Championship Reunion. And good evening to you all. I'm Jim Barniak, my good buddy Chris Wheeler joining me right now. My partners, Gary Maddox and Mike Schmidt, down on the field to take part in tonight's ceremonies, all of which we're going to bring to you. And we've been talking about 1980 all day. And Chris, if I had to frame one moment back during that championship year and get you to recollect it for me, what would it be?
Jim, it's so easy to think back on that, and it would be the parade the next day. And I think probably the reason for the parade is that when we were on those floats the next day going down Broad Street, everybody realized they didn't have to play anymore. That it was over, that all those one-run games were over, no more extra inning games, no more pop-ups popping out of guys' gloves, and everybody could go out and finally enjoy the greatest moment in Phillies history.
Well, you're going to get to relive it all during the ceremonies tonight, and we'll be back with it all right after this.
Hi, I'm Gary from McCafferty with my sales manager, Clyde. Clyde's excited because it's leftover sale time. With more than 400 new Fords, you'll find the exact car you're looking for. And in addition to factory rebates and low interest rate financing, Clyde's personally discounting every car. Savings into the thousands on select models. That's what it says, Clyde, savings into the thousands. 1990 Ford leftover sale time. McCafferty. We're more than just Ford. We're Nissan, Hyundai, Jeep Eagle too. McCafferty. Route 1 Langhorne.
And welcome again to Veterans Stadium, where most of those players from that 1980 season, including coaches and the manager and general manager and owner, all back here tonight to relive it. And it's only part one of a two-part ceremony. Tomorrow night, we're going to see those guys perform in an equitable old-timers game, and all of that will be brought to you on PRISM as well. We're standing by now to get started when our good friend Harry Callis will take over and conduct things.
Yeah, he's down there the right field line down near the tunnel, Jim, where everybody's going to come out. They asked Harry to wear a red jacket tonight in honor of the Phillies, and I'm not sure if he's colorblind or what.
All right, let's go down now to the field and Harry Callis.
The world champions to the biggest and warmest victory parade ever seen in this city. The parade that October day concluded at JFK Stadium. Tonight we are going to relive the end of that parade with a mini parade here at Veterans Stadium. First, in the first car is Phillies owner Ruly Carpenter. General Manager Paul Owens, Mike Marcel. Manager Dallas Green, Vice Sylvia. Coach Ruben Amaro. Hitting instructor Billy DeMars and wife Katie. Third base coach, his manager Lee Elia. and wife Penny. Pitching coach Herb Sturt and wife Betty Lou. Bullpen coach Irish Mike Ryan and wife Sue. Dugout coach Bobby Wine and wife Fran. Coach Ramon Aviles. Pitcher and home run hitter Randy Lurch. Big LC pitcher Larry Christensen. And Ochetti says Manny Trio. Relief pitcher Warren Brewster. The man who knocked down George Brett in the World Series, pitcher Dickie No. Another fine relief pitcher, left-hander Kevin Saucier. He's still in uniform with the Pirates. Saved a game yesterday for the start of the first game of the World Series. Bob Walk. The third baseman, glove man, now Phillies coach John Vukovich and wife Bonnie. Greg Gross and wife Debbie. Gigi, that great punt. Man who started the fifth game, 5-0 in September, Marty Bystrom. The big right-hander, Golden Homer, Ron Echo Reed and wife Julie. He was a rookie and hit well over 300 in his rookie year. Keith Moreland, wife Cindy. Another rookie outfielder for the Phillies, George Vukovich. He hit 400 in the LCS, 500 in the World Series. Del Unser and wife Dale. He won the fifth and final game of the LCS, Dick Ruthven. The man with the short and mighty bat. Shake and Bake McBride. The Secretary of Defense. 8 gold gloves. Caught the final out, got the final hit in the LCS. Gary Maddox and wife Sandra. The big guy who drove in the winning run in 2 of the Phillies' 3 wins in the LCS. The Bull, Greg Luzinski and wife King. Finest defense in the National League. He could pick it. Larry Bowen, wife Dana. He got the final out in the World Series. The Tugger, Tug McGraw. We've honored him many times here. Lefty Cotton, Big Steve, and wife Beth. MVP of the World Series, MVP in 1980, Michael Jack Schmidt, and wife Beth.
lot of the emotion that is spilling out now sort of started this afternoon at a luncheon downtown, and all the memories came back. Chris, the thing that I think stands out, this team battled on the field, off the field, amongst one another, and here 10 years later, all the wounds have healed, and everybody really just having a ball.
Well, they battled the media, Jim. They battled the fans. As you said, they battled themselves. They battled Dallas the whole time. And the key to them was, I think, talent, obviously. They were really good. They had a lot of good players on this ball club, and I think they used a lot of those battles to kind of channel their energy in positive directions, even though a lot of it was negative. And they used it. They always had to fight somebody. And then they went out and they just played baseball in the month of September and October like few teams have ever played it before, I think, and wound up world champions. Seeing that trophy out there is, wow, that just brings back so many memories. There's Wino, Bobby Wine, now working for Atlanta, and there's the trophy. I remember walking into the clubhouse that night and seeing that sitting on a platform in there with all that red velvet around it and just staring at it, and still needed 3 outs to get it. You know how long that took. I'm thinking, wow, boy, that's what it's all about.
Even a Pirate. There's Bob Walk, a big part of the team, taking part in this ceremony.
Yeah, Bobby Walk's getting a nice hand from his buddies in the dugout, Manny Trio and Larry Christensen. Warren Brewster, he really looks different without that mustache. And Brew, he could pitch, had that hard sinker and those nasty eyes. That's Dickie Knowles, his wife Susan. Dickie now making his home in the area and working for the Phillies in the offseason, going out and doing some speaking on drug and alcohol problems. Kevin Sochet, his wife Karen.
Of course, the newspapers and the radio shows have chronicled the final month and a half of that season, and I, for one, had forgotten a lot of the elements, but almost every game, the Phillies were coming back from some kind of adversity one way or another. It was not a cakewalk to get that trophy.
Well, it's nice the way they have been chronicling. There's John and Vukovic and Bonnie, his wife. I knew there were a lot of one-run games, and then you read about how many there were, something like 13 or 14 that month. And Phillies continue to win one-run games. Then you get in the playoff, and 4 in a row go to extra innings. And then everybody said the World Series was anticlimactic, which I don't think it was, having been involved around it. They were great games in the World Series. So this team just knew how to win. They had gotten to the point, I think, where they got into the month of September and won all those one-run games. And when it got to real tough times in the playoffs, they knew what they had to do. Marty Bystrom right there was 5-0 in September.
And big Ron Reed.
Slick and Julie. Ron Reed was a very underappreciated member, I think, of that championship team. There's Keith Moreland, who played right up until last year when he retired after being on the Baltimore Orioles. George Vukovic, who was a rookie on that ball club and did a lot of good things for the Phillies that year. He's right behind Keith.
Pinch hitter supreme, Del Unser coming along.
Yeah, Del now running the Phillies minor league system, and a whole different lifestyle for him, and enjoying it. His golf game's suffering because he has to work in the office now. That's his lovely wife, Dale. There is Rufus, Dick Ruthven, here with his wife, Sue, and Tommy Hutton, his brother-in-law, is here tonight doing a telecast. Dick Ruthven threw that final pitch to Enos Cabell. There's a guy right there, Jim. Was one of the most underappreciated guys in this town, I think, for years. Shake and bake. Boy, could he hit.
Lost a lot of weight. His hair is gone.
That's right. That afro's gone. Bake's taking a lot of heat about that, too. And your partner and our buddy behind him?
Yep.
Gary and Sandra Maddox. Wearing his jacket. Hard to figure out who he is. He's got a young son right now, Ryan. Jim is going to be a first-round draft pick as a catcher.
I got a sports scrapbook show coming up with Greg, as that young son Ryan will be starting his football season in another month, and we're going to talk about that. Greg, the football coach over at Holy Cross High School in Delran, New Jersey now.
There's Frank Edwin, who had the "We Win" from the Daily News. There it is. Everybody was holding them up that day on the parade. Comes Lefty. wife Bev. And last but not least, Michael Jack and Donna.
He's leading the summer in ceremonies.
Yeah, he's had a big year for that stuff. He likes it better up here, I think.
From 1980 are no longer with us. Right-hand pitcher Nino Espinosa died nearly 3 years ago. And owner and chief executive officer of the Phillies, the wonderful man Bob Carpenter, died last month. Could we have a moment of silence, please? Thank you. Now let's meet the 80 world champions. First of all, the owner of that great 80 club, Rudy Carpenter. The man who is the farm director and built this team from a last-place club to the world champs, former general manager Paul Owens and his wife Marcelle. We have for each one of the 1980 players a World Series trophy, miniature World Series trophy, and for their wives, a 10th reunion charm and necklace. The big guy, the man who ranted, raved, ruffled some feathers, got the job done. Manager of the world champions, Dallas Green, and his wife, Sylvia. A former infielder with the Phillies who was a coach in 1980, Ruben Amaro. Phillies batting instructor and a veteran of the 80 coaching staff, Billy DeMars, and his wife, Katie. The Phillies' outstanding third base coach, who later managed the Phils, Lee Elia, and his wife, Penny. Phillies' pitching coach, Herm Starrett, and his wife, Betty Lou. He held the same role as he has now, the reliable bullpen coach, Irish Mike Ryan, and his wife, Sue. Former Phillies shortstop who was the dugout assistant coach 10 years ago, Bobby Wine, and his wife, Fran. An infielder who filled in at second base and shortstop, laid down a bunt, do whatever he asked him to do, Ramon Aviles. Left-hand pitcher who came up in 1976, one of the best hitting pitchers in baseball, Randy Lerch. The big right-hand pitcher could also hit. Clinched a game with a grand slam at Wrigley Field. Clinched one of the division championships. Would you welcome Larry Christensen? Was it fun to watch our next guest play second base? As Tim McCarver says, the Rudolph Nureyev of second baseman, MVP of the League Championship Series, Manny Trio. The gutsy relief pitcher with the gunfighter eyes, Warren Brewster and wife Jennifer. Another relief pitcher who had no fear, Dickie Knowles and wife Susan. Left-hand pitcher, reliever who did a great job out of the bullpen, Kevin Saucier and his wife Karen. He's still pitching and pitching well for the opponents tonight. Got a save at Wrigley Field yesterday. Started the first game of the World Series as a rookie, Bob Walk. Veteran third baseman who is now the Phillies coach, first base coach. He is a great addition to any ball club, a tremendous influence in the clubhouse. John Vukovich, John's wife Bonnie. An outstanding pinch hitter and spare outfielder. He laid down that perfect bunt to set up the game-tying rally against Nolan Ryan in Game 5. Greg Gross and his wife Debbie. And he started that fifth and critical game of the league championship series. Marty Bystrom and his wife Meg. The Golden Domer, who still is in the record books for rebounds at Notre Dame, veteran relief pitcher, 1-7, save 9 in 80. An unsung pitcher for a lot of years with the Phils, Big Ron Reed and wife Julie. This rookie on the 1980 Phillies played a lot. He hit .314 in his rookie season, .412 as a pinch hitter. Catcher Keith Moreland and wife Cindy. Another rookie on that team who jumped from Double-A ball in '79 to the majors the next season. Key pinch hitter, good left-hand hitter, George Vukovich and wife Carol. The veteran outfielder came through with such key hits time after time in postseason play. Hit 400 in the playoffs, 500 against Kansas City in the World Series. Del Unser and his wife Dale. This right-hand pitcher won a career-high 17 games in 1980. And in postseason, he won the big one, the fifth and deciding game of the league championship series. Dick Ruthven and wife Susan. He slugged a 3-run home run in the first game of the World Series. A 300 hitter that year. Right fielder, shake and bake, McBride. Ten years ago, he won his 6th Gold Glove on his way to winning 8 in his career. Drove in the winning run in that clinching victory. Caught the final out. Secretary of Defense, Gary Lee Maddox, and wife Sandra. A former #1 pick was one of the best power hitters in Phillies history. He drove in the winning run in 2 of those 3 playoff games against Houston. The big guy, the Bull, Greg Luzinski, and wife Jean. Hit over 300 in both the playoffs and series in '80. He's played more games at his position than any player in National League history. One of the finest defensive shortstops, if not the best, Larry Boa and wife Gina. He came off the disabled list in July of 1980 and was nearly perfect the rest of the season. He had 20 saves, 5 wins, and 5 saves in the last month, plus pressure pitching in the postseason. Striking out Willie Wilson to win it all, the Tugger, Tug McGraw. The big left-hander won 24 games in his 3rd Cy Young Award in 1980. He also won 3 postseason games. Won over 300 in his career, struck out over 4,000 batters. One of the greatest pitchers ever, Steve Lefty Carlton, and White Bell. In 1980, he had a career-high 48 home runs. Won his 5th straight Gold Glove on his way to getting 10. Was the MVP of the league, MVP of the World Series. Finished his career with 548. Michael Jack Schmidt. Nothing will top that 1980 season. It will live in our memories forever. Let's once more turn our attention to Fanavision for a musical tribute called Memory. Season occurred at 11:29 p.m. Tuesday, October 21st, when
Crowd will tell you what happens.
Let's hear it one more time for the 1980 World Champions, and thank you for being a part of this ceremony. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, if you are a Phillies fan and you've been one for the last 10 years or so, there's nothing but goosebumps that comes out of that. And Chris, the guys down the field right now might have the biggest goosebumps of them all.
I think they do, Jim, and you know, that was a great ceremony. And you want to know why this team was so good? You just saw it. Those are great players that were down there.
Don't forget, we've got baseball yet to come. The Phillies and the Pittsburgh Pirates. I'm going to thank Chris Wheeler for sitting in with me here. Chris, I think you may have to hang around a little bit because my two partners are going to take a while to get rid of those goosebumps. That's all coming up right after this.
And he grounds this one foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. Darrell has been in a batting slump, although he had a home run and an RBI single yesterday. They were his first 2 hits in his last 20 at-bats. He is now 2 for 22 with an 0 for 2 here tonight. He's hit 24 home runs against the St. Louis Cardinals in his major league career. And that pitch low in the count, 2 balls, 1 strike. He gets your attention when he comes to the plate.
Get the feeling Pepino will be careful with Scarberry because I don't think he will stay in if he walks Scarberry and has to face McReynolds.
There's a drive to center field, a base hit. McGee plays it on the hop, and the Mets have the tying run on with Kevin McReynolds coming up, and we might see a pitching change. Mets get their 5th hit in the game, and here comes Joe Torre. This time he's walking out to talk to Paul Runge, and he might make a double switch here. Todd Zeal made the last out for St. Louis. And DePino going out of the ball game, and Lee Smith is coming in. That's the closer for